Yes, delayed.
Live. Hello, everybody. Good evening. We're live. And hopefully you're watching. It looks like we have 8 concurrent viewers. Well, welcome to the 8 concurrent viewers. 9. I like to watch the ticker go up. This is Mark Laurie, your superintendent, Niagara Falls City School District. This is the second and final of our Sister Schools forums. We're happy that you are watching this on the evening of Monday, March 15th, 2021. We will stay on this for about 30 minutes or as long as the questions come. We have a few questions already. You can call in your questions by dialing 371-1664, 371-1664, or 391-0736, 391-0736. And you can leave your questions at those numbers, send a text, make a phone call. We've checked out both numbers. They do work. And we've got a very special team manning the phones in the other room ready to answer your questions. And if you have any, we'd be happy to answer them. We know that there is a news article in the online version of the Niagara Gazette that explains sister schools. There was a letter to the editor last week about sister schools and one in the Buffalo News as well as the Gazette. Buffalo News was Saturday. So we hope that you're getting all of the information. Remember, the sister schools are Kalfas and Niagara Street. They are the primary schools, with Abbott being the intermediate school. Abbott School will be grades 3 through 6. Kalfas and Niagara Street will be pre-K 3 through second grade. Abbott will be the only school that does not have a pre-K in it. Obviously, it'll only be grades 3 through 6. All of our other elementary schools, the applications are out. So I would encourage you to pick up an application if you're interested or know of somebody who has a 3 or 4-year-old and is first time to our district. Fill out the application, get it into 66th Street as soon as possible. We will then assign the classes and give you more information. And we hope very much that you would take advantage of our 3 and 4-year-old program. Also, I need to tell you that if we continue to do a good job as a community with this virus, more vaccinations, we hopefully will be in school in September. 4 or 5 days would be most preferable a week. Next September, we will be offering a full host of summer programs. We're just not sure yet, dependent on the virus and the transmission of the virus, if they'll be in person or if they'll be online. So, or a combination of both therein. But we do plan on offering a full complement of summer programs as well as our, September programs. But we still have to finish out our school year and finish it out strong. We know that we are now, as of Friday, we'll be 2/3 of the way through our school year. Our second trimester report cards will be closing this weekend, and report cards will be mailed on April 1st. We also know that we have a 2-week break coming up. We do have 3 questions, and I will be happy to give you some answers to these. Once again, please call in now. We're going to be here for another 20 or 25 minutes answering your questions. The first question is a really good one. How will we know if sister schools work? Well, we'll know if sister schools work by the achievement levels, the attendance levels, the participation levels of our students. And ultimately, we will know if sister schools work by the graduation rate of our school district. So everything we do in pre-K 3, 4, if we were to get the Head Start program, and we're hoping we do, elementary school, prep school, it all leads towards one goal: to graduate all of the students on time from Niagara Falls High School. We want everyone to finish. We want everyone to finish on time, and we know that there are multiple ways students could finish, but the ultimate test of whether sister schools will work will be, is it a contributing factor to the improvement in graduation rate? On a more short-term basis, we will review student achievement scores, their growth, how were they doing this year and how much have they grown, Has their attendance improved? Has their engagement in school improved? And we have ways to monitor and check that. So those are some very general ways that we'll know if it's going. We will also certainly look for parent student surveys, teacher and staff surveys to make sure kids feel comfortable and are achieving and want to be in school. Discipline referrals would be down, attendance and grades would be up. In what ways will this partnership focus on the whole school improvement and community engagement? Well, it's another good question. So, in a smaller setting, in a pre-K 3 to 2 setting, we will be able to bring in resources that are more applicable for younger children, and more partnerships that support younger and younger children, and hopefully a strong beginning in those pre-K to 3 and to 2 schools will render a much stronger completion in Abbott and in their graduation rate. So Niagara Street will reduce in the number of students in the school. Kalfas will be just about the same. Those are really small, workable class sizes, small, workable numbers. There'll be much more team teaching with the teachers. There'll be a better ability for teachers to focus on a smaller level of curriculum, an easier way for us to develop teachers, staff development wise, more age appropriate activities, more age appropriate clubs and supporting things. So we're able to bring those kind of accommodations uh, that are much more age appropriate in a more robust way when we break up the grade levels. Now, on the intermediate side, there will be much more career development, many more offerings. We've talked about STEM and STEAM and dance and career exploration in the construction trades, and also performing arts. We'll be able to do all of those things that we just can't do for as many kids across pre-K to 3 to 6. So we'll be able to intensify the work, intensify the supports in a smaller grade configuration. This question says sister school partnerships can improve student learner outcomes as well as a full range of purposes as determined by the school community needs. What are the aims and objectives for the district? Well, of course, the aims and the objectives for the district are to improve student achievement, improve student engagement, improve student opportunities, improve student supports, improve students' ability to be enriched, improve students' ability to be remediated where they need to be remediated, and move forward and moved ahead where they're able to move ahead. We'll have a much better handle on a smaller group of age appropriate students in one location, and we'll be able to bring programming that will certainly support that age development on a much more direct and focused manner. So it's an exciting time for these schools. It's an exciting opportunity for us to try something new and different coming out of a pandemic. We know it's the right time to do this. Unfortunately, during the pandemic, students have been located and maybe sometimes they're located remotely in a school or with a teacher that's not in their home school, or even with students who would not normally be in their regular classroom because we've had to combine some classrooms and move some kids to different places to be more economic. No one really had a in-person, well, certainly the students that are going hybrid have an in-person home, but we've got 30% of our students who have had a remote kind of virtual learning home this year. So it's really the appropriate time to do this. We'll never have a better opportunity. And as we said in one of our newspaper articles and to our Board of Education, we have been talking about this idea since 1993. 28 years later, we either need to take an attempt, our best attempt at this, or move on. And this is going to be our best attempt. We continue to work very hard with transportation. We know that that is the single biggest challenge that we'll have. It is our goal to offer more transportation. We are studying bus routes now. We know that we want to keep siblings together for as long and as much as possible on those bus routes. We know that that's the major parent concern. So we will do everything in our power to make that happen. The pandemic was kind of a breather to the administrators planning the sister schools, and it gave them a really good opportunity to sit down and look and think and really create a very efficient schedule, a schedule that offers a lot not only to the intermediate students, but I had a chance to look at the primary schedules today. We're going to be able to offer more collaboration for teachers, and it's really, it's really a golden opportunity. Well, sister schools mean lower student teacher ratio, personal learning opportunities. One of it's a really good question. Our class sizes in the primary will average around 22 students. There will be an occasional class of fewer than 22, and there will be an occasional class of more than 22, but the class size averages around 22. What it will allow us to do in the primary and in the intermediate grade is to group and regroup students. The teachers can work with a group of students who have one learning style or one achievement level and then regroup for another subject. So much more personalized individual learning across multiple teachers will be available. One of the things that might happen or could happen in the intermediate school is students, as they get into the fifth and sixth grade, start to get more prepared for meeting with different teachers as they do in the middle school or the prep school, as we call it. We could have a teacher who is just very, very proficient and skilled in math, work with a group in math. Another teacher who is proficient and highly skilled in ELA, work there. A teacher who's passionate and real dedication to science is there, and social studies as well. So it will allow us to group and regroup kids. It will allow us to possibly have teachers specialize in one content area and become real content area specialists. Interestingly, that's what the state is asking our special education teachers to do, K to 12, and our model could follow that. We are in committees right now working with the administrators to determine if that's the best model. As students are younger, it's often better to have a student with one teacher for rituals, routines, processes, procedures. As students start to get older, sometimes it's easier to move them or to move the teacher from class to class. The students can stay in the same room. We've got many pockets of that in our schools already, especially in fifth and sixth grade, where two teacher teams work together. It works very successfully. I'm thinking of many of the schools where I see it happen. We could have 3 teacher teams, 4 teacher teams, or we could have individual teachers as we've traditionally had in elementary school. So it will allow for more content specialty in teaching, especially in the elementary grades, which we not necessarily have had it. Class sizes, to answer the question directly, will be, as I said, in the primary, about 22. There are a few more classes in the intermediate school where the class size will be about 24. But what this will be able to do is it will be able to afford us teachers who can do more reading recovery at both of those schools. So it's a first grade program that's highly successful right now at Niagara Street and Calphus, and we like to push that out even a little bit more. We can have more special area teachers working with kids. So it really opens up a lot of possibilities when we do these kind of things for additional supports and services. Something that we've been talking about here and we would really like to do is to have a math AIS team and a math AIS person. We do it with English, but now this will free up teachers to provide that in-class math remediation where some kids need it, and we're noticing as we study some of our data, math is becoming an area, especially coming off the pandemic, where we need more and more AIS. So the opportunities are endless. This gives us so much more flexibility. A couple of good questions here. Where will second grade enrichment? Second grade enrichment will remain at Abbott. There will be one second grade at Abbott. It's the enrichment class. So those students who are taking the COGAT, I believe this Saturday, the 20th, um, and who qualify for our enrichment program beginning in second grade, second through sixth, will stay at Abbott. What kinds of open houses and other programs are being planned for the students so they'll get used to it? It's a really good question. Abbott is a big school, and some of our students, especially those from Calphus and Niagara Street, have never been there. We will have multiple open houses at both the primary schools and at Abbott. I can envision summertime visits. The school will be open in the summer. The school will be able to be open for tours at any time. The administrative staff will be there. I would even promise you, speaking for our principals, Ms. Manella and Ms. Tompkins, and others at Abbott, that they would be able to give you personal guided tours. If you are, experiencing any anxiety or want to see the school in the summertime, we'd ask you to call ahead. I'm sure they'll open that opportunity up to you as often as necessary over the summer. There'll be summer activities to even introduce yourselves, to introduce your teachers to you. So the goal would be that before that first school day in September, you'll have seen your classroom, you'll have met your teacher, you'll have known your expectations, you'll have known what supplies you'll need. If we get really good, and I know that Mr. Graneri is really good as a information technology administrator, we may even be able to have some of your technology already signed up in advance at those open houses so that on day one you're going to be accessing and using technology. That certainly would be a goal. But on the, I'm calling them kind of the wings, the primary schools, same thing. Miss Buckman, your principal, Mr. Marino, and Miss Brundage are always in their schools all summer. There is at Niagara Street and Calphus very little, there to no capital projects going on. We are putting new cameras in those schools. At Abbott, we're fixing up the kitchen and we're putting in new cafeteria furniture, as well as the normal cleaning that we do there. So there'll be an opportunity to have those schools unimpeded when students might want to come in and take a walk. And we'll always invite your parents to come with you. The hope is that with a phone call, you'll be able to go in or have small groups so that you can maybe even meet some of your classmates at times. We'll work with your teachers to give your teachers time to meet you in the summer. And that will be a big part of making everybody feel comfortable in starting school, doing really well on the first day. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be nice to see a different look. Our second graders will now be the big students of the schools. And I know they'll help out their pre-K compatriots and siblings and friends. And our sixth graders at Abbott will be the big students of the school, and there'll be lots of opportunities to be together there. It's great that we have 31 viewers. Appreciate all of you that are taking the time. We will post this meeting on our website so that you can pick up maybe some new information or hear us speak of some new information. We will remain on if there are more questions. We'll remain on another 10 or 15 minutes. Please feel free to call 371-1664, 371-1664, 391-0736. Our phone bank of ready and willing phone takers are waiting for your calls. We don't have any more calls. I'm going to stay on for just about 5 more minutes to make sure that nothing else comes in. And if nothing else comes in, we'll wrap this up. We did want to give everyone and anyone a chance to listen and learn and hear. This will be our final open forum. If you have questions, or you are watching this, or you're watching it on the posted website, please contact one of the principals or assistant principals at Abbott, Niagara Street, or Calfus. They can answer questions. Something that we're working very hard on today is to let the Calfus and Niagara Street parents know what the boundaries are. Who will be going to Calfus? Who will be going to Niagara Street? Where is that boundary and how will the buses work? We are going to work on that very, very much in the next month so that we can get that information out and then we can morph into getting into bus routes. Abbott's easy. All of the students that normally would go to Calfus and Niagara Street and Abbott currently would move up to third, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade or second grade enrichment. The Calfus Niagara Street split is the one that we're working on so that we can soon tell you which school you'll be going to. And again, please pay attention to pre-K 3 and pre-K 4 if you're new to the district. Also, our English as New Language students, that's ENL, English as Second Language students, please know that we will keep those students at Calfus for the most part in our primary grades. If you're in our intermediate grades, you go to GJ Mann. That will not change. We're going to work very hard to keep the primary students at Calfus, and the intermediate students will go for the most part to GJ Mann. That's grade 3 through 6. We've already talked to you about the split for the enrichment program. That will make for a nice sequential list of second through sixth grade, and the enrichment team will work together as they have. I'm excited, not just for our enrichment team, who will have the opportunity to get much more instrumental music. All Abbott students can get that. We'll start music in third grade, instrumental music in third grade. That's super exciting. That is different than all of the other schools. So I'm excited about that. Having a performing arts teacher in the primary school, in the intermediate school at Abbott is exciting. I know our high school performing arts teacher wants very much to work all the way back down to Abbott. Now that's a reason to go to Abbott. We couldn't offer that in all of our elementary schools, but if you get to Abbott, you'll have that great advantage. When you get to middle school and high school, everybody will catch up, but it's really a way to have like a great modified sports program at Harry Abbott with performing arts, because performing arts teaches you so much, as well as instrumental music. We're excited to be able to do that. There will be a period every week for career clusters, for career trades, for career learning. Very exciting. So I'm really, really kind of waiting with great anticipation, knowing that we will be recovering from this pandemic if we keep doing all the great things we're doing and starting some new endeavors. In the primary schools, it's going to be really important to continue to put much, 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 much more, many more resources in helping kids catch up where they need to be, and really focus on the core academics with a lot of early primary teaching and information. It is 6:23. I'm going to hang on for another couple of minutes here. I appreciate the 2 likes. I think my mother is probably watching. Maybe that's why we have the 2 likes, and probably with my brother. And we've got about 30 viewers, so I hope you find it helpful and informative. I hope that you pass this information along. Again, we won't be doing any more of these open forums. This is really our 5th forum. We did 3 last year before we had the pandemic, and then we put sister schools on pause. It is the right time to come back and do this, and I'm happy that that's this far ahead. I'm really excited for you to read an article that we have coming out next week. And we'll post on all of our social media about our career pathways at Niagara Falls High School. That's actually starting this Thursday and Friday, when about 25 to 29 kids are going over and starting to begin their career pathways in training in the trades. Specifically, they're going to get their safety cards. That's just the beginning of a lot of good things that are going to happen at Niagara Falls High School. The prep schools are going to be recruiting for a very new and innovative program called PTech, where they're working in industrial manufacturing. And we have another question here from Mr. Corella. And the question is a good one. Why do this with the problems why do this? What were the problems in the three schools? Well, in the three schools, I wouldn't say there were problems, but there are big concerns about attendance. There are big concerns about our academic achievement. Um, and it's important that we do something different to improve our attendance, to improve our academic achievement. Calfus remains a school in need of improvement from the state list. That will cease to exist because of this reconfiguration. But we're not just doing it to remove Calfus from that list. We're doing this because we know we've got to put a laser-like focus on individual differentiated instruction in academics. And this is the time to do it in these three schools. Why not do it citywide? That's a great question. Our thought process behind that is, let's start with three kind of what I would call contiguous schools. They're in the downtown part of the city. Calfus was always designed to be a primary school. Abbott has a beautiful campus layout for an older school, and Niagara Street's a multi-purpose school that serves a lot of populations. For instance, the children in the primary schools may get more in differentiated physical education. There are pools at Calfus and at Niagara Street. Kids can learn to swim even at an earlier age. So it's an attempt to bring more programming to our students. That's really what it's an attempt to do. Why not do it citywide? We may. We didn't want to jump out of the gate and pair all of the schools up, but we could. I know there's been some talk and some questions at other schools about doing it that way too. If this works, it could be a forerunner to more of these pairings. But instead of doing it across the board, we thought we would start with schools mainly that need more support with student attendance. Mainly with student attendance. It's a way to start by bringing more transportation and more special programming to schools that have some of our bigger attendance problems, to be very blunt and direct with that question. It's a good one. Would we do it citywide? I would always consider it. Would I do it next year or the following year? Probably not. We want to get some real strong data from how this is working. Great questions. How about if we stay on for 3 more minutes? We're up to 5 likes, so my mother must have voted 3 other times. Thank you, Mom. And we have 31 people. That's great. 31 people watching. It's 6:27. We will stay on 3 more minutes and ask your questions and answer your questions for this segment of our Sister Schools Public Forum. I appreciate those that are watching and listening. Remember, we'll post this soon to our webpage so that you're able to view this again. Mr. Corella is getting a workout running the questions in. These are really, boy, uh, it's a small but well-thinking group of listeners here. Will there be uniforms? That's still to be determined. That is still to be determined. Um, I know there are committees that are talking about it. Calfus does have uniform shirts. Niagara Street does have a uniform shirt. Abbott doesn't. That's still to be determined, and we will give people plenty of advance notice. Will you be using more teachers? We won't be losing teachers. We'll be changing what some of the teachers are doing. And something that we're doing as a district is we're going to really work hard. Our human resources administrator is going to lead this in establishing who are the teachers in what school and what grades very soon, so that in the month of April, they will know. And we will have those people positioned so that the principals can assign their classrooms, assign their teachers that'll be working with them, and they'll know that well before they leave for the summer break. It will also allow us to have we're going to add some teachers to different roles. I've talked about reading recovery. We've talked about STEM and science. We've talked about math, AIS. There's a real chance here to have some teachers take some different roles in addition to teaching in the general classroom, which is very, very important. But we'll have more specialist type teachers who will support the children. A performing arts teacher, a math AIS teacher or two, more reading recovery teachers. The support services that'll come will be far greater, again, because of the need, and because of the fact that we really want to give those students that are stepping into these sister schools all the support they can get coming out of this pandemic. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to neglect our other 5 schools. No way. Those schools they tend to be a little bit smaller in nature. Hyde Park would be our next largest school then. 79th, Maple, Man, um, our smaller schools, Cataract and Hyde Park, are a couple of our bigger schools. And we're going to be able to, again, if all things are holding true, especially with a good looking budget, we'll be able to give some support in those schools as well. It is now 6:30. We're up to 8 likes, so I want to thank my family for hitting the like button. I want to thank Ms. Massaro and Mr. Graneri for manning the phones and taking care of technology. I want to thank Mr. Ruffalo for setting everything up for these sister school meetings, and Mr. Corella for running the questions from room to room to room. He got his workout in tonight, and I appreciate all the work that team did. Again, please contact the principals that I've mentioned of the 3 schools if you have other questions. We will be putting out blurbs and messages through our auto dialer, our text messaging system, the newspaper, through the school messaging systems to keep you updated. With that, I thank you for listening and paying attention. I hope you found this informative, and we wish you a very, very good evening. Thank you, and be well.